right. Hi, everyone. I am Alex.
I'm also Alex, and together we have co-founded the cat health company.
So today we are going to talk to you about two things. Firstly, why cats? And then we're also going to talk about what targets we're drugging and how we're going to do that.
So obviously, as we know, developing new human drugs can take a very long time. It can take anywhere between 10 to 20 years. And really that translates into an uninvestable time horizon.
And what startup founders and investors end up thinking is that regulators are just evil and want to inhibit innovation, having a laugh in the background. But regulators really, in a way, want to see if your drug works and if it does so in a safe way.
And what's most often required for human drugs is really of high complexity. We have to look at efficacy in disease models. We have to look at IND-enabling drugs. We have to look at pharmacokinetics, and that's just to name a few. If we add the recruitment phases for at least 3 years of, at least 3 phases of trials in the human space, then it adds up to hundreds of experiments, thousands of pages and tens of thousands of data points. And this impacts the timeline that we're seeing here. So we can shave a few years off by looking in the repurposing space. But the most drastic difference that we've observed is really developing in the veterinary market, where we can reach the pharmacy shelves anywhere from 2 to 5 years.
This isn't just about how fast you can get to the market or what gene or what combination pathways you're going to hit. It's a personal thing. We've had cats. We have cats still. We love them. Our families do too. The internet loves cats. More than half the world loves cats, except
for birds.
And mostly furniture.
And definitely mice.
Shout out to Aubrey. And there's a lot of love for cats that you can see in the market sizes as well. So just in the USA alone, Americans spend about $58 billion every year on their cats' healthcare, not including feed and supplements and other things like that. They spend about $89 billion on their dogs. There's various countries where there's a bias for cats or a bias for dogs, but these are like the main companion pets around the world. And because of that, you see a lot of companies popping out in the space. Notably, Loyal obtained the first a historic conditional approval with their IGF-1 inhibitor targeted for aging specifically as opposed to age-related diseases in particular. You also have a lot of other awesome companies. You've heard from Epiterna in previous sessions, amazing data. There's companies like Rejuvenate Bio, like Animal Biosciences, Genflow Biosciences. However, what we've noticed is that they've went for the largest market in the US and leaving an unmet need on the cat side. So that's where we're coming in. And
of course, it's not just for the lack of competition in the space and the cats we have at home and them just being generally cuter, but really they're significantly better for clinical research. So cats are smaller, which translates into less active substance being used, and effectively better trial economics, which is key for a startup. They're also varying less in size, so it's easier for us to standardize drug dosage. It's actually highly likely we'll be able to develop a pill functioning across multiple breeds or all breeds. On the other hand, for dogs, if we look at Chihuahuas, they're the size of a small cat. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we have Great Danes or English Mastiffs, which are human-sized, really. And that basically has an effect in the liver size. It's of much higher variability, and that affects metabolism. And we really don't have to worry about that here. And now that we brought you over to the furry side,
we're also going to tell you about which targets we're drugging, how we're going to do that. So in here, you can see a t-SNE plot of gene ontology term embeddings. And in plain speak, you're just trying to take features about processes in cells, tissues, cell types, organs, and so on, and trying to do dimensionality reduction and then to see large scale, like two features. And you can see that some functions cluster out, like cell division in cell cycling terms. And there are very large groups, for example, at the top right of the plot. There are some that are in between. They don't hold in any sort of group, and that's because they have multiple downstream effects in different processes of life. What we're interested in plotting is how do age-related diseases and various aging pathways come up on a plot like this. And you can see if you look at the red, well, maybe not on this projection, but you can see that they scatter a lot. They're all the way from east to west, and they're not in every single group of processes, but in a lot of them. And what this means is you cannot develop a very effective treatment against age-related diseases by looking at only one target or one gene. And that's part of why we're at this conference. We're very excited about what LEVF is doing with their robust mouse rejuvenation project. It's an amazing screen for combinatorial, for combinations of therapies. And we think donating to this is very important, and also collaboration in the space.
Exactly. To identify the combinations we want to test, we have developed a suite of proprietary AI tools for drug development. And we have open source software as well, such as GWASjet, that's linked here, and was developed by Alex during his time at the University of Oxford to look at targets of interest and then generate a cluster of molecules with the rest of the high-performance pipeline of the molecules that we want to look and we want to take to trials.
So in terms of pure targets, there are some that we're going to whiten out here and some features that we're going to whiten out here because we're pursuing them as of now. But our pipeline and our both public data sets, private data sets generated by us or by collaborators, some of these have very interesting outcomes. So one thing we were very glad to see, again, from Aubrey's conference is this very known target, TNEC, that was previously hardly druggable. And Alex Zavarankov's in silico medicine just presented at the conference about how they managed to drug this target. It's a very interesting target because, for example, just 3 days ago, the Horvath lab published a maximal species lifespan association study from DNA methylation data, and TNEC is a very strong coefficient in that data set. So we're very collaborative. We want to talk to startups around here, especially in the longevity space.
Exactly. We're showing here our latest press release with a collaboration with EpiPause, a Florida-based company. Have to give a shout out to Dr. Andrea Bial, who've been discussing this with as the CEO. I think they're doing wonderful work, and we came together really for a feline study to increase their sample size and improve their clocks, but also to help us refine our targets that we're looking at.
So in order to do everything that we do right now in the clinic, we need to have a very strong team. And so we selected people that could join the team that could have very strong industry experience and top institutional credentials. And a part of that in the core team, we've been very long-term friends. Me and Alex have met a decade ago at the University of Manchester doing biomedical sciences. And Alex has had an amazing career. We've worked together on several projects already, but he's an amazing clinical person. Worked for BioRelate, for LabCorp, for CRL, Charles River Labs. And for those of you who are not in pharma right now, Charles River Labs is the biggest drug development partner in the world. I wrap my mind around this figure. About 87% of all cancer drugs approved by the FDA in 2023 have data commissioned by Big Pharma from Charles River Labs.
Yes, and Alex's background is, well, at least equally impressive, to say the least. So he's completed his doctorate in molecular and cellular medicine at the University of Oxford. He's worked for H-Curve, he's worked for Deep Science Ventures, and he's worked for Genevia. But really now, in this present moment, we're fully committed to the startup. We're doing this full-time. And really, just by looking at our first names, it's an A-team. So.
So speaking of A-team, we also have our very own Adelina Caetru. She helps us with all of the regulatory stuff that you still have to do in the veterinary space as well in terms of filings. She's a senior legal of Accenture, managing millions of dollars of deals, startups and corporate as well. Our very own Ana Cruceanu. Dr. Ana Cruceanu is an amazing senior veterinarian. She connects us with a lot of hospitals and high-level people in the veterinary space, clinics. And we're networking in the States as well as. So far, we've had a cornerstone investor from Novartis Animal Health. We've had a couple of collaborations, and we're here really because we want to collaborate with many of you. If you're an investor, or if you're a funder, or if you're a startup founder, scientist in the longevity space or in traditional pharma, anything you do in this space could be very helpful to us. We'd be very happy to collaborate, so reach us out after the talk. And
thank you for your attention. We can take any questions now.
All right, so any questions for Alex and Alex? Over there on the left. I mean, well, my right. Microphone, yeah, it's coming.
Yes, thank you very much. So this is a bit of a practical question. As a cat owner myself, I know that the issue of patient non-compliance, let's say, can be significant with cats. So suppose you develop an effective longevity drug for cats. How would you propose to administer it to them? Because as much as I would like to have a conversation with my cats about the importance of taking such a substance for long-term life extension, I do not think they will listen to that. What is the best way to get them to consume it?
So there are pill feeders, which is pretty much like a very small syringe. You can feed a pill down the throat of the cat. One of the cats we have at home is slightly reluctant to pills, but that seems to have worked fine. And there are multiple strategies. We can look at having something in the feed, although that's maybe less precise on the dose. But I think the trials we do as well, they're multi-arm, and they happen at home with the owners. So it's a lot more comforting for the cat in that environment rather than, well, in a clinical trial center where everything's foreign, and we hope that will have a good effect on
I'd mention for 10 seconds on that. That's an interesting thing with the veterinary space in general, which is you can take some of the drugs that are unpatentable and you can make formulation-based patents. So for example, there's a company that did an amazing drug very shortly, very fast to market, an old drug that was a growth hormone receptor agonist for appetite stimulation, and they called it Entice. And the patent there was the meat tasting formulation specifically for cats, specifically in the dose that you need. So we're thinking about that, and we have a lot of connections that can help us do that. So don't worry, we'll get your cat.
Have you tried wrapping the tablet in a piece of ham?
Sorry, can you say it just a bit louder?
Have you tried wrapping the tablet in a piece of ham? They love it. At least my dog
Wrapping
does.
the tablet in a piece of ham. I don't think we ever had to go that far, but it's a good idea, and if we do, we'll try and give that a go.
What are the molds like? The thing. Do you put something in their throat so the pill goes down, or what's that?
I'm very happy to show you afterwards on Amazon or any page. Really, it's just it's called a pill feeder. It's like a very tiny device where you put your pill in, and then you can just press it down the throat. You massage it a bit, and then it goes down very easily, even for our most stubborn cat. We didn't have any problems with that. Yeah.
There's a question in the middle there.
Yes, very interesting. we have data from dogs showing that you can cure human depression by acting on the dog's depression. So would this longevity of the cat expand to the human companion of the cat, according to you, or have you contemplated the possibility of include this in your model?
I mean, we love our cats, and we want them to have more time with us at home. And yeah, it's well known that that has a very positive effect on the well-being of pet owners. When you just get a safe environment that you live in. Yeah, we'll definitely try and give them some extra years to perfect their poker faces while they knock over our plants with them.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.